So you'll purposely miss the middle of the face?
Yeah.
Okay. The amateurs do that naturally, by the way, a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. I knew it was a good idea. There it is.
There you go. Bob, look, your long game is incredible. Your iron play is great. Your driving's really good as well, pretty accurate. Let's talk about what you do different with the driver compared to the iron. The driver's a sort of a specialist club.
Yep.
What do you do different, and what makes you such a good driver at the golf ball?
Again, probably in the last year, I've changed quite a lot in the driver. For me, I used to spray the driver because my attack angle used to get too much up. Okay. I was always trying to hit it as far as I could. I see a lot of people getting told hit up in it, hit up in it, hit up in it, but once you do that, you lose control. So for me, I'm not shy on hitting up in it. Like, I can get 3 up, 4 up, but again, I have to reset. And when I reset, it's all about trying to get it as neutral as I can. Not down in it, not up in it, almost try to find the zero attack. So that then, once I've got that, I know that I'm not going to overdo the up. Whereas if I just keep hitting up, 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 it's going to end up 4, 5, 6 up at times. So for me, it's about resetting and going zero. And then another little thing that I do is, I wouldn't advise it at home, but I change strike location on the driver face.
Okay. For
wind direction, shot shape, whatever is needed. I'll change whether it's out the toe, out the heel. For the miss, I vary.
So you'll purposely miss the middle of the face?
Yeah.
Okay. The amateurs do that naturally, by the way, a lot of the time.
That's what I do all the time. I knew it was a good idea. I mean, we need to go into that a little bit, obviously.
Yeah, so it all started when the wind for me was off the right, for a right-hander, wind off the left. And I felt I couldn't draw it enough into the wind because the spin would come off it. If I was trying to shut it down, I'd launch it low, spin would be off it, dive out the sky. We came to the thing, have you ever tried to hit it out the toe? Because the gear effect on the driver will create that curvature without the added draw. And I said no. I was a wee bit scared at the start and teed it up, and it looked wild. And I mean, now it's a constant. I detest hitting it out the heel. So now when I'm hitting a driver, you'll see me line up out the toe all the time. Okay. Because my fear is hitting that left ball.
Okay.
That I get stuck underneath.
We've got to see it. Let's see this. This is cool. I did not know this.
No,
didn't know this at all about you. Obviously, Liam brought that to the table as well. It's obviously a Scottish thing, and obviously
I think it was at St Andrews, the old course. The back 9 wind's always off the right-hand side, and I couldn't draw it enough. And they were like, "Just hit out the toe," and I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds easier, doesn't it? It sounds."
So you'll just address it at the toe. Yeah. Is that?
So yeah. So my tendency is I go on my toes, I fall closer to it. It's like this, so the heel's exposed. So I'll literally just line it up. It depends how much I'm trying to move it. Obviously, you don't want it too far out the toe, then you lose all power through the ball. But literally line it up halfway between the edge of the club on the toe and the centre marker of the driver, and then I just swing it. I don't really worry too much. It will move left to right.
That's pretty cool, though. Because I think you would think there'd be so many players, including good players, would be going, I never want to hit out the toe. And yet you're like really comfortable with it, you know what it's going to do, and it's, I love it. Just me.
So I'm a higher spinner
yes, of
the driver. So I like to, when I'm getting fitted for a driver, I'm not the ultimate, I don't want it going as far as I can. I do want it going somewhat as far as I can, but I want control. Yeah. So if I'm getting fitted for a driver, I'm wanting it spinning 2.5, 2.6 because I've got the speed. I don't need to worry about the speed. So if I get fitted at 2.5, 2.6, when I hit it with the toe and I get that draw, it'll drop to 2.1, 2.2. But what it does is keeps it in the sky. When I used to get fitted and I was down at 2.2 for a good one, try to hit it as far as I could, the minute I try to draw it, it would drop to 1.8, 1.9, and then it's out the sky. There's no control.
So golf ball is huge for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had a story about how you changed into this golf ball.
I remember being in a Zoom call after the Ryder Cup with my whole team. A lot of them living in England. I'm up in Scotland. One of the guys in Austria on a Zoom, and I said after the Ryder Cup, I was like, talking through things, and it just kept coming to my head. I'm like, I need to change golf ball, I need to change golf ball. But I was happy enough in the golf ball I was using. But the Ryder Cup, my ball wasn't stopping. Hitting into elevated greens with 7 irons wouldn't stop. And I remember the 7 iron I hit into the 10th.
Marcus Simone, yeah.
In Rome, and Justin Rose hit the exact same shot. I got up there, he's right next to the hole, my ball's ran through the green, and I'm like, my ball's not stopping quick enough. So in the Zoom call I said, guys, I think I need to change golf ball. And Simon and Stuart, 2 coaches, stood up off their chair and started clapping. They were like,
Brilliant.
we were waiting on you to realise that. And ever since, I sometimes still tweak between the Pro V1 and Pro V1X, depending on how firm. If it's not too windy and the golf course is brick hard, I'll go to the X just for that extra bit of spinning and height.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So you're someone who likes to, we spoke to you before about your game, you like to work it both ways, but you like to sort of almost have your calibration as 0, 0, 0.
Yep.
That allows you to create the freedom off. You mentioned the attack angle here as well. What is it in your technique that you've done that's going to allow you to get away from hitting too much up, that allows you to maintain that sort of 0 attack angle for you as well?
I used to set up, I used to be a lot like this, which obviously creates the upward strike. And what we've done to level it out, to over exaggerate it, to get it back to almost the feeling I'm hitting down because I was 4 or 5 up in it. I used to set up and feel as though my shoulders, everything's level, like I'm not tilted back, but I still will be because the ball's up in my stance. I used to set up, and then all I done was I would hover it, so that then it's almost like jumping. If you're going to jump, you're going to be centred. You're not going to jump and you'll fall over. So what we done was we'd set up, I'm tilted, but what I would do to kind of level it out was I would lift the driver to start with.
Just to sort of neutralise the whole
sort of neutralise the tilt.
And you can see when you did that, I'm looking at that, you can do that
so
again.
So it's there, and then I'll...
So the right shoulder goes down a bit, the left shoulder goes up a bit as a result. As you say, it levels it out, but it's significant when you do that.
Yeah, so that was to stop the attack angle getting 2 up, and then control the club face is gone.
When you were 2 up, would the ball go more right? Or did you just lose control completely?
I would hit a lot blocks up the left, and then once I've hit a few blocks, I would go, well, there's trouble up the left, I don't want that, and I would flip it.
Yeah.
So it was just to, again, out here in the US, you want a bit more height, but for me, a driver it wants to go roughly 300 yards, 295 through the sky, but for me, I need the flight launching at roughly 10, which is quite low for out here in the PGA Tour. It's more high launch, low spin, but again, I've got to be able to play golf.
Yeah. You found what works for you, and you know there's a lot of advice out there, and look, we've coached a lot of golfers, and we're telling a lot of golfers to create some tilts, and that might be great for them, but you found what works for you, and that's part of just the game, isn't it?
Exactly. A lot of amateur golfers are the other way. They're down.
Yes.
They're inside, over the top, steep. So, again,
we've got to feed what you need.
They can't over exaggerate that if they've got that feel.
So just quickly then, let maybe just hit one now where I know obviously we do want to, we've told everything that you want obviously with the launch angle. If you had to launch it up now,
no problem,
without tilting it, how do you do that?
Yeah,
or do you tilt it?
No, I would tilt it. If I was going to launch one, if I was going to hit one further, or trying to carry something at 305.
Yeah, okay.
I would tee it up, and I wouldn't be scared to get onto my left side, get as far away from the golf ball as I can just to create the speed. But again, when you're trying to hit it as far as you can, you do need the launch. You need to launch higher, spin down. So if you normally, if you strike it well and you launch it a little bit higher, the spin will come down. So again, very similar setup. I would line it up slightly out the toe because I want the spin down. I would have a slight tilt, but not too much, just enough, and then I would just, from the top, I would just swing hard. I've got a dose of the pools today.
We are standing here in the rain and talking a lot, so we'll let you off for that one.
He's from Scotland, he's used to it.
Let's have another one of those.
I think, just as you're doing this as well, I think it's interesting that whenever we speak to really good players like yourself, that as soon as you match an intention of what you want, your body kind of organises itself into it without even almost thinking about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's a bunker there, 305, and you know, Mike said to you, you've got to carry it, and you're, oh, no problem. And suddenly you're almost into that, and there'll be things you do in the swing without even knowing what you're going to do.
I actually do a funny thing in my pre-shot before I play. So if I'm hitting a shot and if I'm hitting a draw, normally I'll do the pre-shot routine this side of the ball so that I'm seeing the golf ball going up the left.
Like a David Beckham free kick then, almost. Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah,
so then if I'm going to hit a fade, I'll do the opposite. I'll come over this side and because then I'm looking away from that and I'm seeing it's going to start up there, and then if I'm just going to hit one normal, it's in the middle.
So good.
I've never heard that, and I love that.
And we're
stealing
that.
Can we steal that?
We'll steal that. Monday's video will be all about that. That's brilliant. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. So if I'm going to hit a fade here, I'd be here and I'd be swinging towards the ball, but I'd just be looking at, obviously visualising what's going to happen. I'm going to start that up the left, up the right, and peel it back to the left. And then when I stand here, I don't stand right behind it. I'll stand just left, and I walk in that angle as well. So everything that I'm doing is creating that.
You're feeding the fade on
that feel.
Really.
That's why you hit the first two not so good, because you didn't do that routine.
And this is the opposite. I'll line this out the middle, knowing that if I'm going to miss this, I'm going to heal it.
It's so interesting though, isn't it, that you are using what you know about the technology of the golf club to help create the shapes that you want. And it's almost like you want it to be a little bit out the heel maybe in that shot there, because you know at least it's going to peel back, isn't it? Do me the draw. I want to see this from this routine again.
The one thing I like as well is what Bob's doing is he's allowing for his tendency, that toe. You move forward slightly, so you're just allowing for that tendency as well. And I think a lot of amateur golfers who slice it and heel it, have a go at that. If they know that they're maybe slightly over the top or move forward, what a brilliant little thing that you can do on the golf course that can help them find the middle a bit more.
Yeah. There's little things that we do that, we still get the same thoughts as every amateur golfer. I remember when in Canada, I knocked the 15-foot putt for birdie on 18, 2.5 feet by, and I couldn't stop thinking about missing the putt. We're humans, but you got to try and think about the million of 2-foot putts you've hit. And
is that what you did?
Yeah.
You went into that mode?
I just went into, you don't miss these.
Yeah.
You're the best from 2 feet in the world,
along
with everyone else on tour.
Love it.
Okay, what shot are we playing here?
This is the draw.
This is the draw.
Okay,
So
draw it off that left bunker.
So the draw, I just aim it up the left wing and then out the toe. I don't change setup too much unless I'm really trying to hook it, but
got it drawing.
pulling everything today.
It's obviously a better line in from there. We obviously had the pleasure of filming with you earlier with irons, and we said we were going to do driver, and I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit here. You said you had a few nuggets that you weren't sure whether you wanted to share. Have you? I'm sure that they were some of them.
The strike location's
that was okay.
That's my favourite. That's the one.
Well, you've given us two, which are phenomenal. Is there a third?
The pre-shot, that can. A lot of people know that already from speaking to psychologists and stuff. But
we were not very good then because we didn't know that.
The strike location, I feel's
that's the one.
For a good player, that's the.
Yeah, that's really good.
The problem is though, I've played a lot of matches against my caddy now, and I've given him a few too many driver tips, and I can't beat him.
Really? His mic's got you on the hands here. Let's just maybe hit one more with a scenario. Now, it'd be interesting to see what your take is on this one, because I think a lot of golfers that we've ever spoken to are really good again. They will say, if we put them in a situation, maybe like this, which is really quite a tight fairway this is, we've got to be in the fairway, it's Oakmont style rough, you've got to make a par on the last to win, you've got to hit the fairway, you've got to hit driver as well.
Yep.
What is your mindset? Do you have a shot that you would go to?
Yep.
Or do you have I'm just going to commit and full send?
No, so, at Oakmont, it was so tight and the rough was so penal that, I like to shape it both ways, but it got to a point, it's that brutal of a consequence. If you miss a fairway, it's so punishing that I felt like you had to hit a shape, almost as much shape as you possibly could, so that you knew, right, I can aim here, and no matter how much I moved that golf ball, it's never going past that edge of the fairway.
Yeah.
So what I done at Oakmont, I've only ever done it one other time in my life, and that was at Desert Springs Tour School in 2017, end of 2017. Only time at Tour School. I was struggling with the driver, and I said to my dad, I'm just going to slice my way around this golf course just to find the fairway. And that's what I done at Oakmont. Every shot I just hit a fade, big fade, because I knew that it's never going to go. I'm going to fade it. I'm going to fade it as hard as I can, but it's never going to go too far. But I know it's going to fade, and it worked an absolute treat.
I love that. When we've spoke to a lot of golfers around this, and what you're taking then is you're making the golf ball do something instead of standing up there and going, well, I'm going to hit this. It could miss right, it could miss left. Which way is it going to go?
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're going, right, I'm going to make this golf ball, maybe start it down the right-hand side and just make it cut back into the fairway. You have a little bit more control of what's going on then, because you know it's going to do a certain thing as opposed to leave it to the elements.
Whereas normally I would aim this, if I'm playing and it's not too penal, I'll aim that right up the middle of the fairway and just try and hit it as straight as I can, and not really knowing that, right, if I miss hit it, heel it, it'll spin a little bit to the left side. If I hit a good one, it'll draw over to the right half, but it gives me that big margin.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's so penal and you need to hit the fairway, I always go to a big cut if I can, if it's not too tight. If it's too tight, then it's a low tee and just hit a stock one.
Because that's another good point, that you can sometimes do that as well, can't you?
You'll be doing that again, I think, probably.
Plenty of times.
Plenty of times.
Probably this week.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
How much is this going to curve? Do you predict a number, or do you just want to make sure it does a lot?
I just curve it as much as I can. I mean, here it's difficult because there's trees overhanging on the right, but I don't know how much I'm going to curve it, but I know when it's tight and I need to fade it, I'll just aim until I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I'll just swing at it. And I mean, I've hit that many golf balls now that I know what should result.
So in this instance here, as you say, with those trees there, you'd use as much of this teeing ground as possible.
So I would tee it up as tight to the left side.
Yeah.
Again, just the pre-shot would be over from this side, fading. This will be not too big a fade, but a good 20 yards.
Okay. We've got the breeze off the left as well, which is obviously
not helping.
Not helping that, but that's fine.
Again, line it about the middle, knowing that if I'm going to miss it, I'm going to hit it out the heel.
There it is.
There you go. That's moving a lot in the air. That is
15 yards, 20 yards.
But again, when you're just trying to find the fairway, you're not worried about it going 285 yards. If I hit a 3-wood and I hit one good, it's 275. You miss that, you're 260. Whereas you miss a driver, at least it's down there.
Yeah. It's good.
That was awesome, man.
Great stuff.
Some good nuggets in there. I love that.
We're definitely going to steal a few of those. But yeah, awesome to watch.
There'll be the next 3 videos covered for us now. We aren't going to do any prep work. Thanks, man.
Thank you.